Okay, so yes, I've left my hair in a couple of braids. I just love the way that the scrunchies kind of look in my hair like this. Kind of fun. My braids have gotten really long. Okay, like I will post more videos on the hair channel about that. But yeah, okay, where are my knees? Okay, I'm gonna show you the braids. So yeah, my knees. So that means, my friend, that yes, my hair is long, 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 long. I want to make sure that this live stream is actually live, though, so I'm going to double check. Oh, it is. Okay, it looks live. So, I'm making a potato bake. I'm going to chop up potatoes. And I have such good news today. My mom, this is rosemary and garlic from her garden. I love my mom. I have a really, even if I don't always agree with my mom, sometimes, we don't see eye to eye, I just realized my mom's always there for me. Always. And I know this, I guess, what's I gonna say? I feel like the good thing about your family, when you have a close family, and my best friend too, like, their love for you is infinite. It's not conditional. It's not based on, something that's fleeting. Whereas people that, they have romantic love, it feels like it's predicated on something that could end. Like, and it's based on something, or just lust, or anything like that. It's just based on something that's fleeting, that's temporal. But I think when you have true love with family and close friends, it's infinite and it's eternal. And that's beautiful. It's not even about being part of a certain religion. To be an atheist and have this kind of love with your family. I just feel like, or friends, or people that you're close to. I feel like if you're a person that seeks, and I realized that was something about myself. I just believe in having good, strong relationships with people that value me because I value them. And it's not everybody. I don't love everybody because honestly, I've never pretended to. I've never pretended to love everybody. I just think you can actually, there are people that you can care about in this lifetime, and I feel like people just haven't had that. I think that's another reason that people seek it out in other things, and I'm like, you know what, I've been very lucky. And my mom was just telling me today how she's gardening, and I'm like, I might not garden because I don't have the land to do it, but I do love her loving to be in nature, in the garden. I just find it very beautiful that she's always doing her thing. And sometimes when I think about my mom, I think about a garden. That's the association I have with my mom. Whereas I don't know, I think people associate me with long hair and maybe drawing and reading. Drawing, reading, and long hair. Okay. Oh my gosh, I've resurrected my love for loving, reading, loving, reading. Okay, reading, not loving, reading. So funny. Oh, I want to eat a raw potato with some salt on it. So I'll rinse off the potato again. I think I was going to do this on the other channel. But I have to be on the hair channel. Oh well. You can see me cook on the hair channel, I guess. Excited for you, right? Mom really did something for me. It made me so happy. And I understand, she was okay. So she was worried about COVID and things like that, and she wanted to social distance. But now that she has the vaccine, she feels okay with maybe visiting with family members more. And I'm like, I'm so happy, so good. It's such a great thing. I don't know, I'm not really excited about the vaccine. I'm just happy that she feels comfortable. So that's good. Yeah, so anyway, that's just my take on that. I'm being a little cryptic, right? I'm not saying exactly what I'm having. I never say exactly. Like, some people think that, like, I tell all on this channel. Do I tell all? No, I don't. Because you know what? Some things are just not worth telling. Like, I will never divulge, like, personal details about people. I just talk about myself and my experiences. But I have to show you this. These herbs are so beautiful. So this is onion chives. These are onion chives. And then we just have some other, like, lavender, rosemary. They have a big rosemary plant with some lavender intertwined in it. I actually think that's bloomy rosemary. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I just love it. Like, I'm gonna incorporate a lot of herbs into the potatoes. I'm gonna cook more. I should have been cooking all along. I just think I've had, like, my priorities skewed. I'm like, why haven't I been cooking from scratch more? Like, why not? I don't know. I just get into, sometimes I just get in, like, a little bit of a rut where I don't want to cook all the time. I don't want to incorporate all of these herbs because I want to save some for later. She, like, packs them up in this thing, keep them fresher, but I'm going to put them in the bag like this. I kind of let them dry. I find they dry a little bit, and I'll use some more tomorrow, and I think that's enough for what I want to make. So I'm going to make a potato bake is what I'm going to make. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you. I like to eat potatoes. So I take a raw potato. This is actually something I always think about my mom. I actually need to throw this away because this is something my sister bought. I don't like it. It's like avocado artichoke dip. It's going bad. And it had dairy in it, so I'm like, no, I don't really like that. But yeah, I have a little bit of salt yet left. I probably need to buy some salt, but I just buy, like, the seasoned salt. I don't think I have a lot left, but it's this black pepper seasoned salt, and it has, like, paprika, turmeric, some sugar added, garlic, and I just, yeah. Like, what I'll do is I'll put a little bit red potato. That was always a treat when I was a kid. Have a slice of raw potato with some salt on it. And most people probably couldn't eat raw potatoes. I don't think most people would, but I don't know. I'm turning up potatoes. I don't mind eating a raw potato or two, especially with a little bit of salt on it. I'm not exactly recommending that you do that. It might not be good for you. So when I make a potato bake, I just cut up a lot of potatoes because I'm going to roast them in the oven. And I just kind of cut them up a little bit more finely. But I need to get a bigger pan, I suppose. That I do suppose. Thumbs up if you like potatoes. Does anybody like potatoes here? Thumbs up if you like them. I guess we don't have any potato lovers tonight. You guys are all potato haters. You're spud villains. Spuds are the villains in your life, maybe. This is mint. Fresh organic mint. I'm like, my mom has an amazing garden. I'm like, thank you, Mom. I hadn't seen my mom since September. Okay, she came down the other day and she brought me some herbs and stuff. I'm so happy. And I just been rethinking things lately. Like, sometimes I feel like I've vented about things, like I've made videos about it because I think it's normal to vent. But to be honest with you, when I get back to the core of how I feel about life and whatnot, I don't. Here's one thing: I don't like it when people gossip. I really don't. I don't like it when people like talk about somebody behind their back, and that's not really what my videos have been about. To be honest with you, I don't like. It's not like I intentionally gossip. I just talk about situations that I found vexing because I think it's good to be real. But I've never like said, oh, it's not like slam book or anything like that. I've never like outed people or been like malicious or anything like that. But to be honest with you, yes, I don't like gossip. I don't like it like, okay, what I mean by gossip is like when people specifically are talking about someone behind their back just to be mean or to like make a point or like it just can get kind of cruel, and I don't feel like gossip has a point, and I feel like if you can't say something to that person's face, like then it's not worth saying. Like I just talk about personally, this is me, I talk about scenarios, like I've talked about dating scenarios that I didn't like, and I think that's perfectly fine. Like I don't have a problem with that, but I kind of have just been like reflecting upon some of my content, like thinking about it today, and I don't regret like videos I've made or anything because in the moment I'll be like, I'm kind of thinking that maybe somebody else is feeling that, and it's kind of nice to share. But to be truthful with you, like I'm just reaching a point that I don't really want to vent about, even if it's just situational and it's not about a person in particular, because everything I talk about is my own experience, it's not other people. If it's just situational, I kind of just don't want to talk about it anymore because I feel like, I don't know, like it's not that I say it's gossip per se, but I just feel like at a certain point, if you keep talking about people, like it's just not healthy and it's not kind because it's like if you have something to say like specifically about like what I'm talking about, like situations, they're not about, I'm not talking about specific people. Like here's an example, difference between like airing grievances or just complaining, venting, and gossiping. Like gossiping is where you like say a specific person and you're saying they did this and this and you're being very specific. That I don't like. And I really just don't like the way gossiping feels. Like when you have to talk about people behind their back, it's just so cringy. It's very cringy. It really is. I'm like, you can't tell that person to their face, like something that you don't like. Like it's very cringe worthy in my view. So I don't know. I've just been thinking like, I know some people might think like ranting is gossip, and I don't think it is per se. Like that's different. Like you're just talking about your own life experiences, really. I wouldn't call it gossip, but I've just gotten to the point like I'm kind of tired of just like sharing or like mulling over different things. Like I guess I'm just like kind of over it. So I'm going to just try and take my live streams in a different direction. Like when I talk about something, keep it more about history and politics. Like this book I'm reading about the history of Istanbul, which was Byzantium and Roman times. I'm infinitely fascinated with the Near East, Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Israel, Lebanon. Like I'm very fascinated with that region of the world. Could it be because I'm part Syrian? Probably. But yeah. I want to think about history and art and things like that, and I just don't think it behooves a person to engage in gossip or talk about something behind their back. Like if you have something that you need to say about someone, say it to their face. Like it just feels like cruel and needless to talk about somebody behind their back. I'm like, and I don't even know what you're achieving. Like you're just venting. And I feel like sometimes like I have talked about situations that bothered me, but I'm gonna kind of just cease doing that a bit more because I don't think it behooves me, and these situations are not me, and I might not like certain things, I might not agree with certain things, but at the end of the day, I believe, like, in that poem that Gibran wrote to Americans of Syrian origin about let people have their freedom and your freedom ends where another person's freedom begins. Like, so yeah, there might be certain things that, people say, do, and think, or just their reactions that don't rub me correctly. But maybe it's just better. I'm not saying you can't have an opinion about things, but I say en general in Spanish, maybe it's just better and more conducive for yourself not to think too much about what other people do because it's kind of like counterproductive for yourself. And I just feel like if you want to live your best life, like who gives a whoop de doo about what other people are doing? Like there's always gonna be something that people are doing that's kind of annoying, kind of not like it's not gonna be inspirational for you, you know? There's always gonna be activities in the world that you're gonna be like, well, okay, why are they doing that? I don't know. People love to do a lot of things that you're never going to understand, like that feel hurtful and it's just better to let it go. And I think in the past, that's why, like, sometimes I'm not a real social person, like a real, really social person. I've always been kind to people, but I think in the past, that's why I'm more introverted and, like, became just more into my own things and didn't even try to get to know people because I just would kind of be, I'm the type of person, like, if you do something that just makes me feel like, unwelcomed or kind of like dissed in a way, I don't really want to tell you off. Like recently, I have been a little bit more vocal in sharing what I think about things, but in general, I just kind of stop interacting. Like that's kind of my mo. Like I just don't feel like I need to say anything to you. I just kind of withdraw. Some people probably don't like that approach, but that's just my natural inclination. I don't really want to deal with a person who doesn't really respect me, It's just, it doesn't feel good after a certain, oh, yikes, no, falling everywhere. After a certain point to interact with people that just can't respect you and you're like, why? Why? I don't know. Like, where am I going with this? I'll tell you where I'm going. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. That's what I do. I just share my thoughts and I like to live stream. And to me, it has been very therapeutic. And I think that's what's great about, like, if you just use YouTube in a way to, like, just share what's on your mind. I find it very therapeutic, honestly, like, just to share what's on your mind or what you're thinking. I don't think it's a bad thing, you know? If you try to use it or channel it into a more positive way. I think social media can be positive when you try to use it to, like, achieve a better understanding of things. Anyhow, that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Or just use social media to learn about topics that you enjoy or to interact with people in a way that you think is meaningful. I've learned a lot of things. Like, this channel is primarily about my long hair adventures. I've learned a lot of things about long hair via social media. Like, when I first became interested in henna, researching that on the internet. That's how I learned about henna. I became so obsessed with henna because I read about it. It's referenced in the Bible, and then I read about it in books like about the Middle East and things, and I had a big fascination with henna. I'm like, like people did it in the Near East, the Middle East, India. Like it's a great hair treatment. Like henna, it's bomb diggity. I love henna. That's one thing. I don't do it every day. You probably could overdo henna. I wouldn't recommend overdoing it, but I do like it's the only hair mask that I will ever do. Like okay. I did try another hair mask, which was an aloe hair mask, and I really didn't like the result with it. Although people told me my hair was really shiny after I did it, so maybe I would do it differently next time. Because I know where I kind of messed up with the henna hair mask was I didn't puree the henna. Like I just cut the gel out and I kind of cut it up with a knife and a spoon. And I think if I had put it in the blender and pureed it, and maybe like also put it through like a milk bag, like that you use for making almond milk or something. I could have gotten out more of the grittiness, like the particles that are parts of the leaves and whatnot, and some of the fiber inside the aloe gel that you don't really want in your hair. That's kind of what I would have done differently, I think. So there's one other element I want to add to the potatoes. Yes, another element. I have some green onions and they're kind of going off a bit in my opinion, so I need to use them up. And I think I need to use all of them. They all need a bath first. Rinse them all. And since everything's gonna get cooked down, I'm like, do I really care if like it's a little wilty, but it's gonna get cooked down anyway. And you sometimes have onion powder. So like I feel like sometimes people are so picky, like, yeah, I should have used onions earlier, but people get so picky about produce. Like, oh my god, it doesn't look pristine. I'm like, oh, have you never ate anything that was processed with onion powder in it? I'm just gonna kind of chop it finely. Fit in here. So I think you can turn over a new leaf any day of your life that you want to. Like anytime that you're just ready to explore a new part of your life, new version, like you're always yourself, right? You are always yourself. But I guess the one thing that I've always loved is there's different facets of me. And some people used to get really mad. They'd be like, what is your style? Because sometimes you look different in different times. And I'm like, I don't keep to one thing every day. Like, if I feel like doing double braids in my hair, I will. If I feel like doing space buns in my hair, I'll do that. Like, I got the idea to do it. And I've done it previously. But then, like, I'm kind of on this double braid space bun kick. And I'm like, I kind of like having my hair part down the middle. You know what's great about having your hair part down the middle, I have to say? The great thing about it is that when you go to comb out your hair, like it kind of makes it easier in a way because you can do one section at a time, and the other section is already kind of just held, is contained, and I really like that. I really love it. It's very nice, I have to say. Do 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 do. Oh, it's starting with the part where the onions make it. A bit more so it's not all inclusiveness. You can always be many versions of yourself. You can reinvent yourself every day if you want. And it just means it's exploring different facets of yourself. Like, I think it would be boring. Like, this, okay, like earlier I was just talking about one thing, like, people look for, like, gratification outside of themselves and other people. But you can find it within yourself. I've always found it within myself. Just by, like, thinking and exploring new topics and like really soul searching and just being a deep dive thinker. Oh my god, like I get on fire sometimes, like being a deep dive thinker. I feel so complete within myself. Like I get really excited like when I just start thinking deeply about various topics, different issues. Like I just really like to I just love thinking. I love to look things up. Like if I'm curious about a topic, I've always done this. I've always wanted to like learn more about it and like, explore that topic. I love learning. Like I always love learning new things, and I never stop being curious about the world. I'm just like, there's so much to learn. Like I'm beginning to learn about Istanbul, about its ancient history during Greek and Roman times, and I'm like, it is so fascinating. There's this thing called the serpent statue, which was from Greek times, and when it was Byzantium, and it's still partially intact in Istanbul today. Like something from way before, like the Roman Empire, before like the birth of Christ. This the statue's like over 1400 years old, and it's still partially intact in Turkey, and you can go see it. And I'm like, that's just amazing. Like there are things like it just like when I start thinking about things like certain things, it just shows you that some things are just more infinite. Like right now, everybody's so like imbibed in whatever they are involved with in the moment. But I just think, what are things that are going to be lasting? Like things that, like contributions, like history, like writing, things that you can contribute that will outlive you. It's just, I kind of think about things like this. It's kind of awesome. Maybe I should read a book to you guys one of these days. I want to read something that's out of copyright, though, just so I don't get in trouble, like the copyright police, because I don't want to read a book that's in copyright. Maybe I'll read you guys a story one of these days, because I like to read, but it's kind of fun to do, like, dramatic readings, and I feel a little bit more confident in my dramatic reading skills. This time has evolved. My eyes are really watery, so anyway. Yes, I'm going to turn on the oven. Add some salt too. Then I need my oil. Well, anyway, I'm going to add my oil, and then I will be back. Like maybe later to post a picture. I don't know. I was gonna post this on the other channel, but I was accidentally on my hair channel. So, oh well, you're just gonna have to see a potato live stream. Thanks for watching.